Everybody, shut up! And action! Is the Seven Deadly Sins and the Four Knights of the Apocalypse a good anime? Well, this is still a continuing anime. I just caught up to it. I just finished the Seven Deadly Sins, the original story, and that was beautiful. But now this is like a spin-off story continuing off in the future. Like the Seven Deadly Sins, they've completed their storyline, but now they've had kids, like we've seen in the last episodes of the Seven Deadly Sins. And now it's 16 years after that, the kids are grown up, and now they're going on their own adventure. This is the story of Percival, a kid who's the son of a holy knight whose grandfather was murdered by Arthur, the good guy we saw that was the hope of Camelot, the hope that Merlin saw, and the guy who's like the heir to chaos or something, and now he's clearly turned evil or something. Camelot is like an enemy of Leonis. What has happened in these last 16 years? Even Arthur's become an enemy of Meliodas. How did this happen? I don't know. That's a key mystery that has you hooked right from the get-go. The story is interesting. You want to see how this Percival guy teams up with the kids of Baum and Meliodas as each of them being one of the four knights of prophecy, with the fourth one being the niece of Arthur himself, and how these four knights are destined to be the destroyers of Camelot and the protectors of Leonis and the world. And there's this entire thing where these four have to go on a quest to basically save the world, while Arthur and Camelot are trying to put a stop to them and separate them or kill them so that they can save Camelot. There's no good guy or bad guy as the story develops, of course. It's more of a neutral story. Like, you're heavily siding with the Four Knights of the Apocalypse against Arthur, but at the same time, as the story progresses, you find yourself being more neutral solely because it seems like they want to protect themselves. But then for each side to protect themselves, they have to kind of clash with one another. That's kind of how it's coming off right now. Of course, I don't know everything about the story just yet because the story is still developing. That's just where we've reached after watching these 2 seasons, 3 seasons, however many there were. I forget. All I know is I was watching while working out. It was a fantastic show. The story itself is really hooking. Each character is once again super charismatic. It's always cool to see them go back and see the Seven Deadly Sins and meet them, and you're always kind of theorizing what's happening here. There's like a heavy theory I have right now that, it's not a theory. I feel like a lot of people are getting this vibe where the niece, the fourth, Gwendolyn or whatever, whatever her name is, the fourth one, the stoic one, she's actually has some relation to Escanor, even though Escanor died in the Seven Deadly Sins. Like, we're just assuming that she has like that because she has a lot of same vibes as him, especially with the trying to call herself the strongest, but like she's not actually the strongest. But at the same time, she can be really annoying at times. But honestly, this anime in itself is really, really interesting and cool to see. The storyline is really interesting. The characters are really interesting. And seeing this entire plot line of Percival as this superhero who is somehow connected to everyone. It's like he's like a carefree, nice kid that you just can't help but fall in love with. Like, he's just a really cute, naive kid, naive to the world, but with his own desires and goals. He has an issue with his father because his father killed his grandfather, and his grandfather is the one who raised him. Like, there's so many relationship and tense relations here that it just has you hooked to begin with. Like, yeah, even Percival's trying to save his enemies. He's befriending his enemies. He's just angered by his father, and he wants to take down his father, even though he's not strong enough to do so yet. He's constantly getting killed, but like, he's constantly reviving himself, essentially. I don't know exactly this point of his power there, but like, that's still a big mystery that we're trying to understand from this show itself. I can't wait for a future season because everything that we've seen so far is really, really interesting. The story itself of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse trying to save Leonis and the world from Camelot, that is an interesting story. What happened to Arthur? That is another interesting point. Like, what did Chaos do? Like, Chaos was a big thing at the end of those Seven Deadly Sins. What happened? Like, I thought they tamed it with the help of Meliodas to make sure it's under control. What is Merlin doing there? There's so many mysteries surrounding the show that you're already hooked from that standpoint. And as you learn more about these new characters, about the kids of the Seven Deadly Sins, as you learn more about the world and how it's evolved, as you learn more about the Seven Deadly Sins themselves, even though they have a more minor back role in this show, it is just really interesting, really hooking, really captivating, and it has all the essence of the Seven Deadly Sins and what you loved about that here. It's not, instead of a story about a past coming back to the future, it's more of a progressional story here now, and you're seeing the impact of everything that's happened there. You're seeing how these kids are tackling this new case and how they have a similar vibe to the Seven Deadly Sins, but in their own new gen form. It's a really interesting show. It has a real interesting story combined with real interesting characters and their own storylines there, and a lot of mystery surrounding everything. That's what's keeping this show interesting and hooked. Animation-wise, it's honestly the same as the Seven Deadly Sins. Good animation. At times, it feels like, what the hell is going on? But, like, still, it's mostly good animation. Sometimes it's like, but most of the time, good animation, great fight sequences, great character development so far, and just interesting characters, interesting storyline. It's beautiful. I can't wait for another season. I'm looking forward to it. I want to keep up with the story. It's a good show. I'm liking it. This is the 7 Deadly Sins and the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. Good show. Peace.